I do. I think he's came back. His off-season training program was great. And I think he's shown that already, being explosive, attacking the hole, getting north. Some of the things we've been working on to really get his vision going. And I like what he's been doing. He's really leading the pack right now.
He seems to have a little edge to him this summer, a little chip on his shoulder. Do you notice that, and how does that? He seems like some guys that's a distraction, but he seems to really kind of thrive on it.
Yeah, I always tell the guys, control what you can control, and we can control our attitude, we can control how we work, we can control our intensity. I enjoy what I do out here, and I have fun, and I want that energy to be as high as it possibly can be, and I'm going to try and match them and push them when they need to. But Miles has done a great job coming out, being real aggressive, and like you said, he's running hard, and he's doing those things that you want to see from your back.
Jamal, just 5 running backs on the roster. You have Boston is out and Kenny, and how challenging is that to kind of keep these guys fresh, during these practices, and then once the preseason games begin on Friday?
I think that's one of the most important roles I kind of play at times, is making sure that my guys are ready to play in games, and you have to adjust. I mean, that's one good thing being a military guy with all that. You got to adapt and overcome, and I think that's part of what we have to do as a position group is, hey, maybe we change our reps a little bit. Maybe some guy's going to have to go with the 2s a little bit more so we can get the reps. Maybe guys going to jump up and go with the 1s. But that's the most important thing I do, is to make sure that we can get these guys, whatever the case may be, ready to go and ready to play on Sunday, and hoping that you can stay healthy to those points. But again, control what we can control, and injuries are going to be injuries.
Jamal, the other day, Nick said he's seen a lot of growth from Kenny from year 1 to year 2. From your perspective, being with him every day, what have you seen?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the biggest change that has to happen. I told him before he left, hey, year 2 is different than year 1. Year 1, you're just learning some new things, but now we're in the same system. Now he's got the same coach for 2 consecutive years, understands my expectations, and it just allows him to grow. So I've always felt a player from year 1 to year 2, that's when you should see the biggest amount of growth, and he's really doing that. I think you're seeing that with his play, his physicalness, picking up pass protection, route running, all the things that he had to improve on, and he really came back on a mission.
How much better is he? We were watching the blitz pickup drill, I think, last week. How much better has he gotten in that? You talk about his physicalness.
Very good. I mean, I think if you look at Kenny, he was thrust early on into a role where he was in on 3rd downs and had to be protection. That's tough for any back, let alone a rookie in the league. And I always look back there. It was great. He started out early, had a couple plays there in San Francisco. We had a free runner, missed a protector. Then we go later in the season, and we have one of the hardest pickups we kind of have to pick up, and he did it on point. So you saw growth even just throughout the year last year, and that's only going to continue now.
When you have a guy like that who can do everything, I mean, he's a good runner, he's a good receiver, he can pick up the blitz. What kind of luxury is that you can kind of just put him anywhere, any down and distance, and just have that?
Well, I think that's part of building your room, and I think that's obviously a testament to Howie with just what he's done, be able to get those different pieces and tools in the room. I think there's certain characteristics that we have to be covered, and how you get those met, whether it's 1 guy, 2 guys, 3 guys, however it makes it happen, you make it happen. I think that's just a testament to him that we have guys in the room with those capabilities.
What do you like about Kennedy Brooks' skill set?
Good. This is what I was hoping to see him in pads. I think a lot of guys come out in the offseason, maybe they don't look flashy because, again, we're not playing football. We're just in shorts running around. And I want to see him do some of the things that he was in college, just a steady player that fell forward for extra yards, was physical, could run, do all those things. That was good. And he's kind of shown that he's capable of doing that, but it's way early for a young buck. So we'll see what happens when we start getting into preseason games and get rolling.
As for Jason Huntley, he's flashed a couple of times. He's shown his outside zone or something. What have you seen differently from him year over year, and how do you think he can fit into his offense?
I like to tell him fast guys have to play fast, and he's definitely a fast guy, and he's playing that way. I think the biggest thing for Jason, I've told him this as well, he's matured a little bit. He's starting to understand it mentally. He's answering questions that just a year ago he had no clue about. So I really think he came in to, I love the position I'm in the room. I got guys that are hungry, guys that want more, guys that are really striving for it. And I think Jason Huntley applied that as well, that, hey, he knows he's got to come in here and do something a little bit different, better than what he's been doing, and he's starting to do that.
What's an example of the way things that he would answer now that he...
Well, always the toughest thing for a back, especially a younger back, is the protection piece. So I would go over different blitz patterns and different formations that they show and ask a question off of that. And some of them, they're tougher answers. You've had to spend the time. And now Jason Huntley's on it. There's just the timeline. Before, maybe I'd ask him a question, maybe a little ham, a little haw. I'm not sure. We were solid with it. Now it's out his mouth, and he gets it, and it's translating to the field. He knows where to be. He's putting himself in those good positions, and now we just got to keep working him and working him so he can get the physical fundamentals of it down.
What do you tell a guy like Huntley who, I mean, if your other 3 backs stay healthy, there probably won't be a lot of playing time for him, but he's got to be ready. He's got to be prepared, and you have faith in him if he does. What do you tell a guy who wants to be out there, he wants to play, but might not get that opportunity right away?
It's stay the course. I mean, what better example do you have than what we had last year? I mean, I had a bunch of different backs that played a bunch of football. It's the nature of the position. I mean, it's a physical spot. We have to pass pro. We get tackled. We have to all those things that come into play. And right, for a guy to make it through the whole year without missing time usually doesn't happen. So I tell those guys, you have to be ready when your opportunity presents itself. And if you take advantage of it, then you get more opportunities. So it's just that. And it's not, we just looked last year, he's got a prime example of, hey, if I'm ready to play, there's an opportunity, I can take advantage of that.
With Jalen having such a big part of the running game, how does that affect the running back?
Greatly. It's awesome. I mean, now as a defense, they have to account for him. You know, it's not like, hey, we're just running it. There's one less guy that's really in the run count for them because of Jalen's threat. Even if it's not on a read play, even if he's just handing it off, they don't always know. So it only helps the running game for us to be able to do that. Hey, he can get some yardage, make him respect him. And now when we're making a backside cut, that end's not showing up as quick, and we're able to slip through that. So it's just a great part of the running game for the backs as well.
With Miles, you were talking earlier about focusing on what you can control. How much do you sense he's hungry, though, for a heavy amount of touches every game?
I think he is. I mean, he's a pack. And if he didn't want the ball a bunch of times, I'd be a little concerned about having him in my room. But he does. He wants it, and he wants the ball, and that's the attitude that I want him to have. And it's, again, focuses on those things. Okay, yeah, we want the ball, but we got to do everything that's asked of us, right? And as a back, it may be, hey, this game, I got to pass protect more than I carry the ball. Hey, this game, I got to be ready to run some routes more than I carry the ball. Or, hey, this is a game, I need to get 20 touches. They're giving me the ball a bunch and take advantage of those. So, yeah, he's hungry. He wants the ball. I think you all seen he's an explosive player when he's got the ball in his hands. Now it's just taking advantage of every opportunity that presents itself.
Does Jalen Hurt spend any time in the running back meeting rooms?
I try to steal him every now and then and tell him he missed a read, but I coach the running backs and all that. But no, he doesn't. He does some work with our ball security because, again, he is a ball carrier, but he's got a whole little different perspective. It's a little different when a running back hits the hole than when a quarterback hits the hole. It looks a little bit different, so we let them stay with Coach Johnson in there.
From the outside looking in, there's attention paid to the lack of that prototypical big-bodied running back. Can short yardage, goal line effectiveness come in different ways than 240, 250 pounds?
Absolutely. I mean, I think if you go back and look at Boston Scott's touchdowns, I mean, the majority of them are down there in the red zone, down the goal line. He has a knack for that. So it's just, you need that ability, yes, but it doesn't have to come in a 240. Maybe a smaller guy can hit a smaller crease and make some things happen. So I mean, the guys that we have right now, I love all three of them. I mean, you look at last year, all three of them were very productive. You got guys that have scored touchdowns, guys that have caught the ball, guys that have ran it real well. So the three guys we got rolling right now are pretty good to go. I'm happy with those three, I can tell you that.
I think Boston has the highest percentage of touchdowns inside the 5 carries. What goes into that for him? What characteristics?
Well, I mean, obviously what happens is you see a smaller guy, you think he's not as strong as a bigger guy. Boston is a strong man. He may be small, but now you're looking at all that strength and leverage from his legs that enables him to push a pile, to get underneath the tackle, to hit a crease, and all that is just he's hitting it with speed and power and strength, and it's just coming in the package that he's bringing it in. So, great example of what you can get done even with the smaller guy.
A couple more here. Those well security drills. We saw you at the link the other night with the boxing gloves. Hitting guys. I mean, where does that come from?
I'm just getting a workout in. I'm just no, I'm playing. No, it is. When I do the studies, and every year kind of do a big NFL fumble study to see what's going on, how his defense is knocking the ball loose, and that has become one of the main. It's just a guy punching the ball. You see it week in and week out. The guys they're literally not even tackling, they are punching at the football. And that's been very effective for defenses. So I'm always going to try and simulate a drill that's realistic and authentic to what it's like playing in the game. And that's really what it comes down to. Got some gloves and just started wailing on guys as much as I can. And they see it in the game. We'll show it to them every week. But I just think it's a great tool for them to just learn, hey, I got to have this ball protected even when I'm getting punched.
What about Miles' leadership in the room? Is it kind of different than other guys?
He is, and to me, that's always that's when I can see the true maturity in a back that's been in the league for a little while. Is he willing to step in? Is he willing to I love standing in the back, and I can hear him coaching up the guy on something that happened, and that's what's got to do. He's played a lot of football, and I think that's part of it. Now he can help those young guys. He can help Kenny. Kenny have a really good relationship. Help Kennedy, help Jason, because he's a little bit of an elder statesman. And the good thing is I got kind of two guys like that with Boston because of the amount he's played as well. They're helping and talking with those younger guys. So it's great to see them step up. And when you know it, you can teach it. If you don't know it, you can't teach it as much.
Thanks for the challenges when you're out here in this league. get that done?
You know, it's one of those things you just got to block out because at the end of the day, we know we're going to have hot games this year. You know, so it's one of those things we just like Coach talked about today. We got to embrace, and it's not an excuse to make mistakes or let our play fall because, again, there's gonna be a game in the fourth quarter we got to win when it's hot out, and days like this help us prepare for that.
What's it been like going against VG this camp?
It's been great. I was rehabbing with him a decent amount this year, so kind of getting to work with him and see how much work he's put in, and he's playing at a very high level right now. It's really helping me out, helping me with my game too, and I'm just really happy to see him out there doing his thing.
How do you like? Most of your reps have come at right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
He's played mostly at right guard last year.
Yeah.
Guard last year. How's that transfer been for you?
It's good. In college, I mostly played right tackle, so I had a lot of experience there. I got a lot of good game experience last year at guard, and really just kind of feel like whenever wherever they need me, I'll go in and play and give my best and do whatever it takes to help the team win games.
What's your understanding of why it's been just right tackle and not sort of practicing other spots?
That's really just, like I said, kind of focusing on one position right now, and whatever the coaches ask, I'll be more than willing to do and give it myself. I think like he alluded to earlier, was getting that experience at right guard last year helped. So kind of getting back to working my right tackle stuff just so I can be able to play both. Because it works. You're always one play away, and you got to be able to play multiple positions.
Is there a certain physical profile? I mean, guards are generally kind of heavier, I guess, just being inside. Weight-wise and physique-wise, is there different sort of? Can you be more specific if you're just playing tackle?
Yeah, you can probably be a little lighter. The guys inside are obviously a lot heavier, but I feel like I'm at a good weight where I could play both. It may tailor it a couple pounds, but I feel like really working with Coach Rath and his staff this offseason, getting to a point where I feel comfortable in my body, where I can play wherever they ask me to play. I'm not like, I need to lose 20 pounds, I need to gain 20 pounds. So
people say the same thing about Seumalo, that ability to play every position on the line. Do you kind of lean on him a little bit, or?
Yeah, Isaac's been someone who's helped me out a lot. Just giving pieces of advice and wisdom, and he's someone kind of similar. He's not super heavy or super tall or whatever. So kind of seeing him at a similar body profile and being able to watch him play at a very elite level has helped me out, and just really watching his game and seeing okay, what is he doing? Why has he been so successful? And that's really helped.
Seeing that you were at right guard last year and Seumalo typically played left, did you feel like you'd be more in the conversation at that position?
No, like I said, I just come in here and whatever the coach is asking me, and like I said, playing right guard last year, got a lot of experience, and it's good for me to get back to right tackle and kind of it's a much different game outside than it is inside. So again, I always know everyone out there is one play away. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to do my best to whatever the coaches ask me to do, and help whatever it takes to help the team win games.
I know Jalen is big on connecting. What does he do with the offensive line to make that happen? Is there anything specific with you guys?
Jalen's great. He'll come sit with us at breakfast, lunch, dinner, just chop it up with us. Whether we're shooting hoops before team meeting in the with the basketball hoop in the team meeting room, Jalen's always just made going out of his way to get to know us and talk to us, and that goes a long way because we have his back and he has our back, and he's really good about that, and it just helps. It makes us obviously we want to play hard for whoever but it just you kind of get that connection. You want to play as hard as you can, just give it all for him and whoever's back there.
How about dinners, you guys? Does he ever take you out?
Yeah, he took us out last year, Del Frisco, so it was a good meal. Okay. Good meal to say the least. Yeah.
What was the bill on that guy?
I didn't even look. I don't want to know.
Did last year, you talked about always being ready no matter what, you want to play away. I mean, you had kind of a quick initiation last year in the opener. Was that kind of a lesson in this is true, this isn't just something coaches say, this is real?
Yeah, and I feel like that's what you kind of said is like, they can tell you, oh, you're one play away, but until you're experienced being one play away and getting thrown in, then you really can't understand that. But it's the one thing with Stout is Stout does an exceptional job of getting he coaches every guy from the best guys on our line to whoever. He coaches them the same. He coaches them hard so that you can be ready, because at the end of the day is if someone goes down, you don't want to be the reason why we didn't succeed or we didn't win games or reach our potential as a team. We obviously have high hopes for this team, and every guy knows that they play an important role. So, Stout won't let anyone play less than their best and make sure they're ready to go.
How much notice? Let me just follow up. I'm just curious how much notice you had for that day in the opener. At right tackle.
Notice?
Yeah.
A couple hours. But at the end of the day, like I said, I've played a lot of right tackle in college, so it's a position I'm confident in, and just knowing that Stout said they'll put me in a good position and help me, and at the end of the day, football is football. So I just knew I had to go out there, execute my fundamentals, and the rest would take care of itself.
How would you compare the nerves before that first NFL game to the nerves before proposing to your girlfriend?
I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even remember proposing. It was like a blur. I was probably. It's close. I would say it's pretty close. I was, like I said, hoping she said yes, and she did. Hoping everything well. I appreciate it. Yeah, but it's different. Different kind of nerves, but both nervous.
You played football before.
I played football. I've never gone down one knee before, so yeah.
Thanks, Jack. How you transition?
Oh man, it's going good. Everything's been going really good, man. I'm excited. I'm happy. It's turning out to be everything that I wanted and more.
Do you have a particular side of the line you like to line up on? It seems like you're moving all over the place.
Get me where, get me right now, just moving me around, get me everywhere. Just try and get me rushing from everywhere, you know what I'm saying? So
we saw you and Jordan get a sack. I don't know. I think you probably would have gotten credit for it, but his push. What have been your early impressions of him and his power and his speed and athleticism?
Man, this last week he's really been coming along. From week 1 to week 2, just the difference in the steps he's making. From making small minor adjustments like pad level, things of that sort. He's playing way better, more aggressively, and as you said, he's getting that push up in the middle, which is lovely for a guy like me. Makes it hard for the QB to step up in the pocket and escape that edge rush. So the sky's the limit for him, as long as he keep taking that approach that he's been taking this last week and continue to work on his game. Like I said,
improvement that quick from a lot of young kids?
Not really, not really. But like I said, you already knew he was a good player. It's just minor adjustments, pad level. He's 6'6", guy 6'6", big guy. So working on his pad level, which is helping out with his push and letting his natural strength take over and do the rest for him.
For pass rushers who have good closing speed, how much does practice actually translate to games? Because when that red jersey's off, obviously you can close in on the quarterback.
It's a little bit more difficult in practice. Like I find myself, letting up a lot of times just because you don't never want to get too close to the quarterback. We need him. We need Jalen for game 1 and for the rest of the season. So it's just that mental part that when you get in the game, there's no restrictions, there's no restraints. It's full go. So I think that's the only difference. But in practice, we try to get as close as we can without affecting him, still allowing him to at least throw the ball and be safe around him.
So across the board, this is a team that clearly wants to improve in sacks. They're second to last year. Can you tell in practice how you're going to do in that area, or is it going to be when it's live in games?
We'll never really know until we get into the games and it actually starts happening. But man, our pass rush unit is working really hard right now. Saying a lot of great things just from a veteran perspective, and I'm excited. I actually told Coach Wash this earlier today that I haven't been this excited about playing football in the NFL since I've been in the NFL.
Why?
Just because I'm in a better space mentally. I know what my role is. I know what I'm here to do. And I don't have to worry about being put in a position that's not meant for me. 9 times out of 10, JG Wash, they're always asking me, what do I like? What do I feel like is best for me as far as my skill set? And you love to see that. As a guy who had a rocky start to the NFL by position changes and all that stuff, to be in a place now where I'm being asked for my insight, that in itself is incredible. And then just the pieces that we have on the D-line, on the back end, is very exciting. And like I said before many times, I just can't wait till the season gets here.
Did you ever have a coach who asked you those questions? They seem pretty obvious.
I have, but
and listen too, I guess.
Yeah, I have. Last year it was kind of like that with my position coach, but now I'm more of a proven player. I've spent some time at this, and my work speaks for itself. So my insight is being asked for more here. The coaches, they really want to put in what we feel comfortable with. What we don't feel comfortable with, they take it out. They want us to be able to play as fast as we can, and you want that from your coaching staff. You want a coaching staff that wants you to be able to go out there and not think and play as fast as you can.
There was a lot made about you dropping into coverage, versus rushing the passer. How much have you done dropping in this camp?
I've done some, and I've done well with it. Everybody has to understand we're in training camp, right? This is that we're in that area right now where we're trying to figure out what works for us, what doesn't, before we get to the season. That way, once the season gets here, whatever we feel like doesn't work, we scratch that and we stick to what we feel like works, and we just continue to get better at that during the course of the season.
When they ask you for your input, do you say, hey, let me drop, on this?
Man, JG here come here explain to me why we need it, and it always sounds like the best option. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, and I understand, and it's some things that comes off of some other things. So when I hear him explain it, I'm like, okay, he doesn't just want me to do this just because he has a reason for it, and I love that the most about him.
On Sunday, Nick called Lane Johnson the best right tackle in the world. As someone who goes up against him in one-on-ones, what insight do you have that you did not have before you got him?
I agree with him. Lane is the best tackle so far that I have going against.
Either side? Either side, or?
Either side. There's some other good tackles that I haven't gotten the chance to go against yet. Up until this point, I never was able to go up against Lane in a game, but I get to go against him in practice every day, and I'm happy for that opportunity in itself. To come out here, work on my game, and go against somebody who truly makes me think, and help take my game to the next level.
When coaches involve players in those kind of things, it kind of gives the players ownership of what they're doing a little bit, a piece of it. So you're out there and you're doing what is right for you. Does that kind of translate into guys playing harder and just being more motivated?
Exactly. When you take the thinking out of it, and that was the problem with playing inside linebacker. It was just so much thinking for me that I wasn't used to, that I didn't have the experience for at the time. So now that I'm in a position where I'm close to playing what I played in college, it takes out the thinking, which allows my natural ability, my natural talent to take over my game for me.
Cool. Awesome. Appreciate it.